F1 does it yet again. This season has been twisting and turning and surprising us in almost every single race, but I don't think anyone saw what happened in Hungary coming. A lap 1 collision which left half the grid either out of the race or heavily damaged, and a battle for the points, podiums and a win with drivers that we've never seen in those positions before. There were plenty of great stories for teams and drivers, but I want to focus on what Hungary means for the championship fight and why Red Bull are understandably going to be leaving the first half of the season feeling frustrated at where they are, and also angry at Mercedes for putting them there. I'm not going to do an in-depth analysis of the crash because I think it pretty much speaks for itself. Bottas, who we know is not a driver you go to when the conditions get wet, got a bad start from P2, losing multiple positions, locked up at turn 1 either from being a little bit distracted or maybe just simply missing his braking point, then subsequently rear-ended Lando Norris, who almost perfectly, and I mean there were jokes after Silverstone, but you simply can't write something more poetically perfectly than this. By rear-ending Lando, the momentum of the McLaren sent it crashing into the Red Bull of Max Verstappen, and Bottas then sent himself picking off the last Red Bull as he crashed into Sergio Perez. Even though Max somehow recovered and the team were able to make some repairs, although the car was still heavily damaged, he did make it up to P10 by the end of the race, which then turned into P9 with Seb's disqualification. In reality, Red Bull's entire race with both of their cars was over before Max had even gotten halfway through the first corner. To make matters worse, although Mercedes made a mistake with Hamilton's strategy and sent him on a recovery drive, Lewis, doing exactly what he does best, managed to take almost full advantage of the situation, and in classic Hamilton style of capitalizing when his title rivals have a bad day, finished in P3, which then turned into P2 on the podium, with Mercedes taking both the lead in the Drivers' Championship with Hamilton and the Constructors' Championship as well going into the summer break. As far as analysing the Mercedes angle, it's an awkward situation to be in right now, but it's not one that's going to keep Toto Wolff awake at night. Lewis is doing exactly what we'd expect in terms of bouncing back after a few rough races in Austria and maximising the car that he's been given at 2 of his most successful tracks. As far as Bottas, I mean, how do you punish a driver internally as a team principal that's just giving you the lead to both of the titles? It's a weird situation all round, but I think Toto Wolff put it best by saying that them not being able to grab the win with Lewis in a way was perhaps a bit of karma. What it does affect, however, is the way Mercedes look at the moment to the fans and also in the media, because there is a real battle of perception going on between Red Bull and Mercedes in terms of which team looks best off the track. After Silverstone, there was clearly some resentment towards Mercedes from some of the fans about how things turned out, but then strangely, that seemed to shift when Red Bull decided to appeal Hamilton's penalty in Hungary with some crazy evidence, which included using Alex Albon during a filming day at Silverstone with a 2-year-old car, trying to recreate Hamilton's lines during his incident with Max in an effort to somehow create new evidence that they try to argue is relevant. On top of that, when Red Bull's appeal failed, the FIA were very quick to mention that they were not happy with an apparent letter created by Red Bull which questioned Hamilton's motives during the crash, and Mercedes fired back with a very big statement defending themselves and Lewis against what they called a consorted attempt by the senior management of Red Bull Racing to tarnish the good name and sporting integrity of Lewis Hamilton. Now, however, after Hungary with Bottas taking out both Max and Checo, it's back to Mercedes, who don't look great from this situation, with both Toto and Valtteri apologising and saying that that's not how they want to race. Now, this war of words, in particular between Toto Wolff and Christian Horner, might seem irrelevant. It's actually really important because it plays into the psychology of this title battle. Because not only does it have an effect on the drivers, with even Max in the interview post-qualifying snapping and saying that he didn't want to talk about Silverstone anymore, but it also has a massive effect on the team itself and how they perform. If you're someone working for Red Bull and you're constantly hearing about how your team is crying and complaining at every possible opportunity, or if you work for Mercedes and you're constantly hearing about how your drivers are dirty and can only win when they crash into Red Bulls, that has a real and mental effect on the people working within the team, and it also puts more pressure on their shoulders in a situation that is already very high in pressure, where you're trying to fight for a world title and trying to do your job at the very highest level. These effects are real, and I think people forget the power of social media, public opinion, and what effect it has on the people working within the teams who aren't the superstar drivers. Either way, it's the job of the team principal to control this pressure as much as they can and to protect the team and keep confidence and morale as high as possible at all times. For Red Bull, however, you simply can't ignore how frustrated they must feel if you think about where they were in the standings just 2 races ago compared to now. Leaving the back-to-back Austrian races, Max was 32 points clear of Lewis, and Red Bull also had a 44-point lead in the Constructors as well. Now, just 2 races later, this is what the standings are, but keep in mind that this is after Vettel's P2 disqualification, and as I'm recording this right now, Aston Martin are still looking to appeal this, so if it is successful, then it will close up a little bit, but regardless, Mercedes are leading both, with Hamilton having an 8-point gap back to Max, and Mercedes with a 12-point lead over Red Bull. Now, Red Bull have got to feel like they've been pretty hard done by, because there's no doubt that they have the overall best car looking at all of the circuits that we've been to so far, and that Max in particular has also been pretty unlucky. I mean, when you look at his results, the only times in which he's not finished either first or second are Baku, where he got a puncture, Silverstone, where he crashed with Lewis, and now Hungary, where he got collected from a crash caused by Valtteri. Despite all of this, Red Bull do need to stay positive, however, after these last couple of races, in the same way that Toto and Mercedes were positive after Max's back-to-back wins in Austria. But this is going to hurt them, because not only have they lost the lead in both of the championships, but these crashes mean that almost certainly both Max and Checo are going to have to take grid penalties for new power units at some point later this season, and on top of all of that, these crashes are really piling up in terms of costing Red Bull millions into their budget cap, which is what Red Bull and Christian Horner have been angry about most. So, have Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton been lucky so far? In my opinion, absolutely, but the one thing that I do want to say about Hamilton's luck, and this has come up a lot in his career, yes, he does get the rub of the green maybe more often than not, but the reason that happens is because he always puts himself in the best position possible to be able to capitalize from it. Even Hungary, for example, the reason why Hamilton wasn't affected by the crash is because he qualified on pole and he was able to get away from turn 1 ahead of everyone else. But that's just it. Despite throughout all of practice it looking like Bottas was the Mercedes man on form to perhaps get pole position, when it matters most, Hamilton delivered the pole, which meant that he was far enough away from Bottas when all of the chaos kicked off. It's those kind of moments, like grabbing pole and pulling out a result in the clutch, that means that yes, whilst Hamilton does get lucky, his driving ability always puts him in the best position possible to be lucky and then maximize from it. Both of these drivers, regardless of incidents, luck, or what people want to say about them, they are driving at a very high level given the pressure that they are under. Maybe this season will come down to big moments of luck like Hungary, but that's true of all close title battles. The most important thing is that both of these drivers need to be respected, but now, in terms of the championship fight closing up heading into the second half of the season, all I can say is that Belgium can't come soon enough. So there you have it. I hope you did enjoy this video. Now don't forget, let me know all of your thoughts in the comments box below. I can't wait to see what you guys have to say about both the Hungarian Grand Prix and also the championship fight so far between Red Bull and Mercedes. Now if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to drop a like and also smash that subscribe button as well. It really does help the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.